What's up, slashes and slashettes? My name's Nightfall, and technically, welcome back to Dead by Daylight. We're not actually going to be playing, we're just going to be looking at the developer update stuff. I know this is really late, but I didn't really have an idea for a video today because I'm kind of out of a gaming groove right now. So I just wanted to make something really quick, and this is just the easiest thing. So the first thing that we have is blood web improvements, which honestly, let's be real, nobody really cares about. It just lets you automatically purchase stuff, which it takes the cheapest route and prioritizes perks. And so that's really nice. It's really all on that section that needs to be done. Um, we also have press to buy, which is if you just do the middle circle of the blood web, it'll just buy as much as it can with your blood points. After that, we have a visual terror radius, which is really good for people who are deaf and things like that. It's really nice. And it is optional, so you can turn it off or turn it on. It's optional. So it's not. I saw some people aggravated because they said it was going to be very distracting, but it is optional, so you don't have to use it. And then it just shows here the different colorblind modes. Auto Haven Wreckers is getting map updates with Blood Lodge. The new building? No, the new layout will have the building in the center of the map, which breaks up line of sight. And there's just other line of sight breakers. Basically, they made it better for stealth killers. And then for Gas Haven, the uh, car piles are kind of broken up now into single tiles instead of taking up multiple ones and just being really, really bad. Healing has taken a turn for the worst um, to some people, but for other people like myself, I think this was actually a much needed change. Healing will now take 24 seconds instead of 16, which will be very helpful for slower killers who can't, you know, with the blight or with Legion, things like that, it doesn't really matter. I guess with Legion, like, it kind of helps, but people don't really heal against Legion to begin with. But for people who lack mobility, for killers that lack that mobility, this will help them out a ton, and it's going to be really good. Um, and this is just nerfs to the camping medkits to add on to the 24 seconds, so that's all. That's all that is. Now the one that everybody is talking about, the perk updates. So Gearhead, when a survivor loses a health state, Gearhead activates for 30 seconds. While active, any survivor who hits a good skill check instead of a great one will have their aura revealed to the killer for 6 to 7 to 8 seconds. So still pretty not good, but it is better. Overzealous will also activate when blessing a totem. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's going to be super OP, right? Well, we'll get to the boon totem changes in a second. Blessing a totem in addition to cleansing, we also slightly increase the bonus to up to 10% instead of 8. Oh, pain resonance. The perk starts with 4 tokens. The first time each survivor is hooked on a scourge hook, the generator with the most progress will explode and lose progress, and a token is lost. We've also reduced the difference between different tiers of the perks, now 11, 13, and 15%. Oh, what did they do to my boy? Look what they did to my boy. So, yeah, you can only use it 4 times, which isn't it isn't too bad. But honestly, it was one of the perks where I figured I figured a nerf was coming. I just thought maybe it'd be still all right to use. I mean, like I said, this isn't too bad. You can still use it. You'll still get some use out of it. It's just kind of different. you'll have to play it differently. You can still take it and it's still gonna get you some value, but you're gonna have to play it very differently. Oh, dead hard. I can hear the survivors screaming, which is fine because the killers were just screaming with Scourge Hook, so yeah. Dead hard will activate after safely unhooking a survivor. When activated, press the active ability button while injured and running to gain an endurance status effect for 0.5 seconds, then become exhausted. Dead hard will then deactivate. So it's the same perk except you have to save somebody first. So it's still probably going to be used the exact same. Call of Brine. To tone down its power, we have reduced the additional regression speed to up to 125% instead of 200%. So that is a 75% decrease. Oof. I don't run Call of Brine, so, but I know a lot of people did. Overcharge? Overcharge? Really? We reduced the maximum regression speed to 130% instead of 200%. This would make it take longer for the regression rate to become beneficial, so at the same time we've increased the starting regression speed to 85% was 75% to help offset this. Alright. And the skill check was reduced by 1%. Why was it 1? What? That's a weird change. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Boone Circle of Healing. My other boy. My other boy. What did they do to my sons? My kids. My boys. Boone Circle of Healing will no longer allow survivors to heal without a medkit. What's the point of even bringing it then? Instead, it will provide a 50% healing speed bonus to healing others, so that's the same. This bonus will not apply to healing done with a medkit. Okay. Additionally, the auras of injured survivors with the boon's range will be revealed to all other survivors. No longer allow survivors to heal without a medkit. But the bonus does not apply to healing done with a medkit. So, what? What? How does that make any sense? Oh, that was the one perk that I would always run. I guess I can replace it with self-care. Just because, I mean, I play super immersive and I'm not very altruistic. I just play super immersive and get gens done and then leave. So, but Circle of Healing was just a way I could benefit my teammates more, to be a little bit more altruistic. But I guess I can just go back to running self-care instead. Killer updates. So the amount of heat generated from both starting to rev and continuing to rev your chainsaw has been dramatically reduced, making the overheat mechanic almost a non-factor when used in loops and over short distances, much akin to how we used to play. Just as before, heat will begin to dissipate as soon as the chainsaw sprint ends, meaning most of the heat generated from a short sprint will already be gone by the time your chainsaw is ready for another attack. So basically, let me actually finish this and then I'll say it. The amount of heat generated while chainsaw sprinting, on the other hand, has been increased slightly. The chances above will help counteract this, or changes above, I'm sorry, will help counteract this. Longer sprints will cause your chainsaw to overheat quicker, so be careful not to let it overheat in an empty corner of the map. Last but not least, we've toned down the Doom Engravings and Death Engravings add-ons. These add-ons will provide less movement speed than before and increase heat generation further. So basically, they made him how he used to be, except only in short sprints. So, instead of being like a sniper rifle, he's a lot more like a shotgun. Like, you have to... It'd be better to use his chainsaw for close loops and things like that. So, that's kind of weird. I feel like everybody would be happy with this as long as you just didn't increase the chainsaw sprinting slightly. Like, just if you had just left it alone, I feel like people would have been like pretty happy with this change. The pig, that's just add-ons. It increased the John's Medical File add-ons movement speed to 10% instead of just having it at 6. The Odie's add-ons, Blackened Toenail and Bloody Sash, allow him to move faster while absorbing blood orbs. So now they increase the movement speed while absorbing by 0.4 meters per second and 0.7 meters per second, respectively. The Nightmare Sheep Block and Unicorn Block add-ons inflict blindness, and they increase the duration of the blindness status effect on each of these add-ons by 30 seconds. The Executioner's Scarlet Egg add-on, which is an add-on that nobody runs, was increased from 1.4 seconds to 3 seconds. The Redhead's Pinky Finger add-on can be incredibly powerful. This is for the clown, sorry. The Redhead's Pinky Finger add-on can be incredibly powerful, allowing the clown to instantly down a survivor after hitting them directly with a bottle. We've previously toned this add-on down by reducing the maximum number of bottles the clown can hold, but it seems like this downside was not enough to bring it in line with other ultra-rare add-ons. Wait, it's an ultra-rare, not an iridescent? Going forward, this add-on will reduce the maximum held bottles by 3, was 2. I've actually seen a lot of people say that this was a good change. Even other clown mains be like, yeah, this is... Or other clown mains? I'm not a clown main. But I've seen clown mains be like, yeah, this was a good change. It's good change. So, bright light interactions removal. When Dead by Daylight first released, only 3 killers were in the game. It wasn't unreasonable to bring a toolbox just in case you faced off against a trapper or a flashlight to burn the wraith when it was a 1 in 3 chance. Basically, it's talking about how now that all those things have been removed other than light burn, it kind of puts all the killers at an unfair disadvantage, especially with wraith with what's the Jill perk? Blast Mine. So we have removed the ability to burn the wraith out of his cloak. This would also stun him in the process. Okay. Similar to the wraith, a nurse could also be burned while blinking. This didn't come up very often since it was very risky and difficult to pull off, but it is also being removed. I've actually seen people complain about this and be like, oh, they buffed the nurse. Be real. When did you ever see anybody light burn the nurse? Because personally, in the 5 years that I've been playing the game, I have never seen the nurse get light burned. Nor have I ever been light burned while playing nurse. So it didn't really change anything. It's not a buff or a nerf or anything like that. It just made her the exact same. The artist, I actually didn't know this. Survivors could shine a flashlight at crows to scare them away. This also didn't come into play very often since crows could easily be shooed away without using flashlight charges. So, okay. The Hag. Ooh, my favorite killer to play as just because I love her ability. It's just so fun to goof around with. Arguably the most impactful, flashlights have long been the sole counter to the Hag's phantasm traps. Not only could they reveal the aura of nearby traps by shining a flashlight at the trap, but shining a flashlight at the trap would destroy it. Removing the flashlight effect from the Hag's power is a little trickier since it would leave survivors no option but to set off a trap and risk the Hag teleporting to it. To ensure that this doesn't make the Hag too oppressive, we are adding the ability to wipe away a phantasm trap. In order to do so, survivors will need to spot the trap, crouch over to it to avoid setting it off, then perform a several second long action to clear it. While this will allow all survivors to clear traps, it will now be much more difficult and time consuming to do so. Additionally, this prevents a survivor with a flashlight from destroying the Hag's traps mid-chase. Okay, so that's okay. That's gonna be different. It's probably a buff, but at the same time, it's kind of a nurse. A nurse. It's kind of a nurse. It's kind of a nerf because in certain ways, like to not necessarily camp hooks, but to just kind of put pressure on hooks. It's not going to be as easy to do that anymore, which I guess is actually a good thing. I mean, I personally only do that with the hooks just to dick around and make people mad. But I don't actually... Whenever I'm being serious and playing as Hag, I don't actually use it that often because I don't camp or tunnel or do anything like that. But that basically just makes it harder to do that, so that's actually probably a pretty good change. The Deep Rift and Beyond, nobody really cares about that. So yeah, that's the end of the developer update, and that's all the changes coming later this week, actually, as the PTB releases later this week. So yeah, With that out of the way, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will hopefully see you all soon. Goodbye.